Well, hello everyone, this is Alex Hare with another landscape photography post-production tutorial. What I want to look at today is how to create a nice boost in saturation to achieve that sort of Fuji Velvia look to our digital photographs. Velvia was a film that gave a very, very vibrant, saturated look to landscapes, and unfortunately raw files don't tend to have that when you get them straight out of the camera. We have to sort of extract it, if you like, from the information in the file. And we do that through the post-production software that we've got, be it Lightroom or Photoshop in my case. I'm using Photoshop because I think that we have a lot more control over how we deliver that saturation and indeed all the other adjustments. So I'm going to look at how and show you how to create an adjustment layer and what the settings need to be to create this nice pop in saturation. Here's my adjustment layer here. If I turn it off, you can see that the colours are really quite underwhelming and muted, but when I put that saturation in, the picture's now starting to really come to life. It might need a little bit further adjustments to contrast after this, but we won't worry about that for now. For the time being, let's just concentrate on learning how to make sure we can boost some saturation in our pictures like this. And at the end, what I'll do is I'll show you how I apply it through a one-click action. And if you want to learn how to do that with an action, there's a separate video available on my YouTube channel and on my website which will show you that. So let me get rid of that adjustment for the time being. Don't worry about this one here. Okay, this is just a previous adjustment I've done to put a little bit of contrast into the picture to make it a bit brighter because it was quite underexposed. So the next thing for me to do is to boost the saturation. And what we do is we come down to the adjustments flyout menu, which is this little half black and white circle down here, and we're going to choose channel mixer. Now in the channel mixer we've got each channel, the red, green, blue channel, which we can control, and within that we've got the red, green, blue sliders that we can adjust. And so I'm just going to tell you what I put in, which is a combination of research, talking to other photographers and figuring out my own preferences, and then I'll show you how I fine-tune it for the picture that we've got in front of us at the time. So red needs to be +141, so we can grab the slider and we can move that up like that to +141. If you want, you can just click in the box though and type in the adjustments. So with the green, which is a bit quicker, so the green is going to be -20 and the blue is going to be -20. And then we'll go to the green channel. Don't worry about what the picture looks like, it'll look pretty awful until the end, but we'll get in there. So with the green one, we're going to make the red slider -20, we're going to make the green slider +141, and we're going to make the blue slider -20. Then we'll click and go onto the blue channel, and here we'll make the red -20, the green -20, and the blue +141. There we go. Now it's got a lovely boost in saturation. Now it's quite strong, even in this picture, which is, you know, really quite seriously under saturated. So the way to adjust that is that we use the opacity control for the layer. Now remember, this might look okay for this picture, but it may not look okay for the next one, so we need to control the strength of it. And to control the strength of it, we don't go back in here and fiddle with these settings. What we do is we control the opacity of it here. So here is the adjustment. This is the mask, we won't worry about that for the time being. But here's the adjustment, and here's the opacity of that adjustment, and at the moment it's 100%, so we can see 100% of what we've done over here. If I change that to 0%, we see nothing. That doesn't mean the adjustment isn't there, it just means that we can't see it. The adjustment is there because we've got the layer and we've got all the settings to our sliders here, but with 0 opacity we can't see it, so we just lift it up. Now I've done photographs where I found 20% to be just right with this adjustment. I think with this one we need a lot more, perhaps 85%. So that's the settings that I do to boost the saturation of my picture. Now what I would do is the final thing, before I show you how I apply this through an action, is that because there will be further adjustments on top of this, perhaps we'll do some adjustments to remove the slightly green tint, perhaps we'll adjust the contrast a bit more. I like to rename it. So we double click on it and make it blue. We can then put in something like Velvia saturation, or whatever you want to call it. Press enter, and now that layer is renamed, and we'll know when we see it in a whole pile of these adjustments what that one's doing. If I get rid of it though and come up here, this is my actions palette which is open. Now all these palettes are available from the windows here, And if you want to see one, actions has got a tick. So if it hasn't got a tick, click on it and it'll appear. So that's why you can see my actions palette, because it's ticked. And in my actions, I've got something called saturation. If I press the play button here, instantly I get the digital saturation, beautifully named, and all the adjustments that we have laboriously put in one by one are all there. And all I need to do now is adjust the opacity to suit the picture, which is a much quicker way of doing it. So if you'd like to learn how to write your own action for this particular adjustment, or indeed for other adjustments, please check out my video on writing actions, which is available on my YouTube channel and on my website. So until then, next time, I'll see you, and I hope that you enjoy now adding some Velvia style saturation to your raw files and your photographs.